Hi, I'm Jerry the Snake Man, and today's Snake Clips topic is going to be rescues and adoptions. Please stay tuned. Our topic today is rescues and adoptions, and basically what that means is we take in unwanted snakes that people don't want so they don't turn them loose in the wild. And we will make sure they're healthy and they eat and what their temperament is, and then we'll adopt them out to people who will hopefully give them forever homes. We don't judge people for any reason why they're getting rid of their snake. A lot of times people tell us, I just don't have time for my snake anymore. Some people are moving and they can't take their snakes with them. A lot of times we get snakes from people who are going to college, and the parents are like, you're not leaving that snake here with me. So we get snakes, a lot more snake adoptions or rescues actually come in August and September time. Other times people just fall on financial hardships and can't afford to take care of them. But for whatever reason they want to get rid of them, we're willing to take them. Sometimes people think a snake rescue is when you go into a pet store and you see a snake that's not being well taken care of or maybe sick, and they purchase that snake in order, and then they come back and say, well, I rescued this snake. Well, if you purchased the snake, you didn't rescue that snake. If they give you the snake to take out of the store because they no longer want it, that would be considered a rescue. The reason we really started our rescues here at Snake Man Snake Shows is all the credit should be given to my wife. I was always willing, through the 33 years that we've been doing shows and everything, was always willing to take in any snakes people didn't want, but I just kept them, and my collection kept growing and growing and growing, and I had a lot of snakes, and I really didn't need all those snakes, and was just taking a lot of money and a lot of time to take care of them. So my wife came up with a great idea. She says, well, why don't we adopt the snakes out? Why don't we try to get them to people who want snakes, who can't afford snakes, who would rather take a snake that needs to be rescued, needs a good home, as opposed to buying a baby snake. So that's what we did, and it's worked out very, very well. The majority of snakes that we normally have for adoption, we have a lot of ball pythons. We have a lot of corn snakes. We get a lot of the larger boas. See, a lot of people will get a boa constrictor as a baby, and it's a cute little thing. But once it gets about 5 feet and it starts eating a lot of food, people look to get rid of them. So I urge people, when they're going to get a snake, to make sure that that's really what they want, and to understand the full size that that snake is and the full responsibility that you're going to have, so that you don't want to get rid of it later in life. Okay, the other thing is, too, we don't want people to get snakes just for the fanciness, just to show off to their friends, and then as soon as the newness wears out, they want to get rid of snakes as well. So when we adopt snakes out, we don't make you fill out any fancy forms, but we do try to read you to see if that you're going to keep this snake, and the reason why you truly want this snake is because that's what you want. It's not something that you're trying to show off. When the snakes come in, they usually have an adoption fee that we adopt out of $30 to $40, $50. Depends on if there's any extra added cost into the expense of the snake, like we have to drive and pick them up, or if they have to go to the vet, or they need some kind of special attention. Normally we do not pick up snakes. You must bring them to us, and we will gladly accept them. There's a lot of times, like right now, unfortunately, we are overwhelmed with big snakes, so I have no more room in my snake room for any larger snakes. The other thing is, too, we do not sell these adoptions. The adoptions come in, and they will go out at the adoption fee. We've had snakes come in that were worth well over $2,000, and they went out for $30. We're not here to make money. We are a non-profit, but not officially a non-profit, but we're a non-profit group. We don't try to make money off of the snakes that we adopt out. We do take donations, and that's why if you look on our website, we do have a place where you can donate money to us to help us pay for the mice and the rats and the heating bills and everything else that goes along with keeping all these snakes. So if you stay tuned, we're going to show you some of the snakes that I still have that are up for adoption, and some of the snakes that we got as rescues that are part of our shows right now. So we're not putting them up for adoption. We're actually using them for another purpose. And I hope you stay tuned to watch. Thank you. Now this here is a beautiful albino California king snake, and this snake was a rescue. It came from a principal who bought it at an expo, took it to school, and didn't like it because it kept biting her. So she decided she didn't want this snake anymore, and she handed it over to us. And it's a beautiful little albino California king snake who doesn't actually bite anymore. Now this rescue was one actually from a pet store. Now I know a lot of people go into a pet store and they see snakes and they're like, oh, look at this, they're not taking care of this snake, I'm going to buy this snake and rescue it. Well, that's not truly a rescue. The snake here was in a corporate pet store. It was very, very, very aggressive and nobody wanted to buy it. So they actually gave the snake to me because I do tend to like aggressive snakes. If you've watched some of my videos, you would notice that. But since I've had this snake has calmed down considerably. It's never struck at me, but when I do put it on display as people walk by, it still will strike out at the glass. So it's not calmed down, but it is a beautiful ball python. And again, it has settled down. It's never struck at me. It eats great, and it's a wonderful rescued snake that's become part of our programs. And this snake here is a Mexican black king snake, a very beautiful snake. I love the jet black coloration with no markings on him. And he was also a rescue. He was rescued from the exact same person who gave us the albino California king snake. The reason she didn't want this snake was because every time she picked him up, the snake would go to the bathroom on her. So she decided that snakes were not for her, and she surrendered both this snake and the albino California king, as well as a baby ball python. This is one of my all-time favorite snakes. This is a leucistic Texas rat snake. A beautiful pure white snake with baby blue eyes. This snake was a rescue. The lady called me, asked me if I wanted it. I came and picked it up. She said that this snake was so nasty that it bit her every single time she would go into the enclosure. She couldn't pick it up. I took the snake, and the snake has yet to strike at me. If you look really closely, you can see that he has had some broken ribs that have healed and not healed perfectly. But he is an extremely friendly snake. Again, he's never struck at me. I keep him for my shows. He's in our programs because of his beauty and the story that goes along with him. Again, a lot of people, they just don't know how to handle a snake, and that's why they get bit. And the snake we're going to show you now is an Amazon tree boa. It was actually shipped to me from Kansas. The lady rescued it from somebody, and then I re-rescued it from her. She said she no longer had the time to take care of it. As you can see here, we got him down in here. He is actually part of my breeding program this year, and we're going to uncover them here, and there they are. There's my little male and female breeders for the year. The rescued one is over here on the right side, and it's the male, and the female is the one on your left side here. They're both poised to strike at me. Hopefully she's been impregnated, and we're going to have little Amazon babies again next year in the fall. But right now we're going to take him back out of here. His job is done for the year, and we're going to put him back in his own enclosure. And this rescue was from a guy who just didn't have time to take care of him anymore. And this is actually a hybrid. This is called a jungle corn. It's a crossbreed between a king snake and a corn snake. Now what's a little bit unique about this guy is he's actually blind. So when you first go down, of course, he can't see you coming. So normally when you first touch him, he's very skittish, but once you have him up in your hands, he's very relaxed. He's non-aggressive, even though he can't see, and he should be frightened by most things. He doesn't try to bite you. Once he identifies food, he eats frozen thawed food, and once he identifies it as food, he'll readily take it from you with no problem. He's a gorgeous looking snake. Even though I prefer to not have hybrids, I don't really believe in crossbreeding snake species, but this guy here, like I said, he's a beautiful snake, and he was one that we got for adoption. So he's also part of our snake educational programs. This next one we have is a corn snake. It's melanistic, which means it's lost all its dark colorations. It's red and orange and white, a very beautiful snake, very healthy specimen. This snake was given up because the gentleman who owned it, he did take excellent care of this snake, but he had to move out of the country. I believe he moved back to Israel, so he couldn't take the snake with him. But again, he made sure that the snake was had a good home where somebody was going to take good care of him, because he really loved his snake. He just had to leave the country. And this snake here is a Burmese python. He was in a rescue. He came from somebody whose roommate left him and went overseas, and 2 years later called him up and says, "I'm not coming back." So the gentleman really didn't know what to do with the snake. He contacted us and we were able to help him out. We were able to rescue the snake, and unfortunately where we live, the Burmese pythons are illegal to keep without permits, which we do have a permit, and with federal laws they're not allowed to be transported across state lines anymore. So this snake here will probably be part of our collection until the day that he dies. And this Sinaloan milk snake was given to me along with a black and white California king snake from a lady who was moving and couldn't take the snakes with her. As you can see, this is a gorgeous, well-fed, healthy snake, and so was the king snake that came with him. And a lot of times people just, due to situations in life, they're moving or have to move, or financial situations arise and they have to get rid of their snakes, and that's what we're here for. We will gladly rescue just about any snake, and a lot of them go to our collections and some go up for adoptions.